A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a dramatic escalation of tensions surrounding immigration enforcement protests, President Donald Trump has ordered the deployment of 700 active duty Marines and an additional 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles. This controversial move has drawn sharp criticism from California Governor Gavin Newsom, who labeled the action as deranged and un-American. Newsom accused Trump of utilizing military forces to fulfill what he described as the fantasy of a dictatorial president, igniting a fierce debate over the appropriateness of military involvement in domestic protests. The deployment comes in response to a series of protests that erupted in downtown Los Angeles, where demonstrators took to the streets to voice their opposition to immigration raids that have resulted in the arrest of numerous individuals, including illegal migrants and gang members. The protests, which have lasted for 4 consecutive days, have seen instances of vandalism, including the torching of vehicles and looting of businesses, prompting law enforcement to respond with tear gas and rubber bullets. Trump, speaking to reporters, characterized the protesters as professional agitators and insurrectionists, vowing that those who disrespect the military presence would face severe consequences. His comments have further inflamed the situation, as demonstrators chanted slogans against the military's presence, accusing them of turning against their own citizens. Amidst the chaos, a small business owner expressed support for Trump's actions, arguing that strong measures are necessary to protect local businesses from vandalism. In stark contrast, many residents expressed outrage at the military's deployment. One protester remarked, "They're meant to be protecting us, but instead, they're like being sent to attack us. This is not a democracy anymore." The protests have highlighted a deep divide within the community, with some viewing the military presence as a necessary measure to restore order, while others see it as an infringement on civil liberties and an overreach of presidential power. The protests were sparked by recent immigration raids that have seen over 40 individuals arrested in a single day, leading to widespread anger among community members who argue that these individuals are simply seeking better lives for themselves and their families. Many locals have rallied behind the idea that these raids target vulnerable populations who do not deserve to be treated as criminals. As the situation unfolds, California Attorney General Rob Bonta has announced plans to sue the Trump administration over the use of National Guard troops, claiming that the president has trampled the state's sovereignty. Bonta's lawsuit seeks to declare Trump's actions unlawful and to obtain a restraining order to halt the deployment, further complicating an already tense situation. The deployment of active duty Marines to assist the National Guard marks a significant shift in American political practice, as the military has not been used in this capacity since the civil rights movement of the 1960s. The Posse Comitatus Act restricts the use of military personnel for law enforcement duties on American soil, raising questions about the legality of Trump's actions. Despite these concerns, the Pentagon has authorized the additional troops to protect federal property and personnel, including immigration agents. As the protests continue, the city of Los Angeles remains on edge, with law enforcement maintaining a heavy presence in the area. While some areas have experienced clashes, the majority of the city has continued to function normally, with schools operating as usual and life largely unaffected by the unrest. Mayor Karen Bass has emphasized that the unrest is confined to a few streets and does not represent citywide civil disorder. The situation remains fluid, with ongoing protests expected as community members continue to voice their dissent against the administration's immigration policies. The coming days will likely see further developments as the legal battle unfolds and community sentiments continue to evolve in response to the military's presence in Los Angeles. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.